Hey guys, it's Editing Kurt coming to you. I know I'm looking real rough because I have just come from the gym, but I wanted to just give you a heads up as you're getting ready to head into this video that it is actually broken up into two parts. So you are going to be watching part one today, and then part two should be coming here soon. I just thought that it was wise to give you a heads up. I wasn't thinking about it while I was filming, but this video has a lot going on. It's got a lot of things to discuss, and it ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would. So I decided to go ahead and break it into two videos, and just wanted to give you a heads up about that. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Hey boo hey, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, today we are doing a bit of a different type of video. With this channel, I like to do beauty, but I also like to do lifestyle, and this is part of the lifestyle. So it is a very heavy topic. This is one of the ones where it is definitely not easy to talk about. And there are going to be some probably more triggering things in it. So if, bad relationships, if, there are certain things that trigger you, this may not be the video for you, because there's a lot of heavy stuff. And that's not an easy way to say that. There's a lot of heavy stuff. With that being said, with heavy stuff, if you are not familiar with heavy stuff, if you have anything negative to say about heavy stuff, you can go ahead and keep those comments in your mouth, because for me, this is real life. This is my story. This is what happened to me. This is what I've experienced with, this type of relationship, as you see per the title. And also, if you are a friend and family and I had not reached out to you during the height of this thing, know that it's not because I don't love you or don't care about you. I need to walk through this. I need to figure this out for myself. I need to take this one day at a time for myself, as well as please don't reach out to me about it. Like, I know that there is going to be this overwhelming amount of, I want to make sure you're okay. I want to love on you, but I need to approach this with people in a way that I feel comfortable and in a way that works for me, and figuring out my healing journey. And that's all that I'm really trying to do. So with all of that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the heavy stuff. Like I said, this is a trigger warning. We're going to get deep. We're going to get real life. We're going to get all up in the nitty gritty. So grab your water, grab your tea. You may need even, a glass of wine, because some of this stuff may make you want to have a drink. Also, I do identify as being a Christian, but this is real life, and I'm going to cuss. Like, this shit is heavy. This is some real shit. So if that is also something that you are not about, you can go ahead and click one of my other videos. You can watch something a little bit more lighthearted, things like that. All of those are available for you. I mean, I got your back, So anyways, here we go. August 6th, I met a guy. He slid into my dating site DMs and specifically wrote, hey, I'm still getting acclimated to the site, but I ran across your profile and didn't expect to see someone so gorgeous, and he would like to get to know me. And so I can't remember if I responded back that night or the next morning, but it was in the next 24 hours. I went, looked at his profile, guy typically not my type. He was a taller white guy, kind of just not my type, right? Kind of the geeky look, glasses. And I was like, I don't really know. And so I reached out to him, and we had a short conversation. And I was like, I don't know that I am really interested. And we continued to talk on and off for a couple of days. And I was like, okay, there's something about him that I am kind of intrigued with. He had appearing to have all his shit together. He was a few years younger than me, but he was tall. which in my mind I couldn't reference how tall because I am horrible with measurements. So I knew he was taller than me. He is in accounting. He, has his finances together. He lives in his own townhouse. He drives a nice car. Like, I guess maybe the female part of me was like, this is what I'm looking for. Like, I want someone who is financially sound and knows what they want, and it's settled. And his profile said that he was looking for a long-term relationship, like, and I'm like, cool, like, me too. I'm not in the streets, almost 7 year celibate. Like, I am not trying to be like out here. So like I said, we continued to talk a few days, and I remember going to work August 10th, and I work out kind of close to where he lives. Like, it's all in the same kind of area, and our power was out. And this is still all through like the dating website. Like, I was not ready to give out my number. I just wasn't there yet. And I had, kind of went back and forth with how I was feeling at that time. Like, one minute I was like, I don't know, I'm interested, I'm not really interested, let me try something new. No, I like what I like. Like, I could not figure out like what I wanted to do. So anyway, the power had went out at my job earlier in the morning before I had gotten in. And so I reached out to him, living in the same area, to see if like his power had went out. And he was good. Everything was good. And I was like, okay, well, like, that's cool. And I had kind of made plans with myself to go to a movie after, which was also like, it was literally like across the street from where I work. And I was like, I'm going to the mall, like, I have plans tonight, because he asked me like what I was doing after work, and I was like, yep, that's what I'm doing. And he was like, you think you may want some company? And I was like, yeah, like, that would be cool. So I got off work, and we ended up meeting up at the mall, which was right across the street. The movie theater's attached. The movie theater had lost power, so no movies. We ended up walking around the mall, and I'm going to back up a little bit. When he walked through the door, that's when like the height reference came into play, because then I could see how tall he was. 6'2", and I'm all for a tall guy. Like, I'm 5'5". I want to stand on my tippy toes and give you a hug and a kiss. Like, that's what I'm looking for. Like, that, I mean, I shouldn't say that's what I'm looking for, but I find that attractive, right? And so he walks through the door, and I'm like, oh, he's tall. Okay. Check mark, we're good. Everything's kosher there. And he like gives me a hug, and the intensity that I felt, like, I had never felt that way before. I have been in love before, but I have never felt like that intense, like, deep breath kind of like feel. And it kind of caught me off guard for a second, and I had to like, play it off, because there was like something that I was like attracted to. And so we walked around the mall a little bit. We got to know each other, and walking with him was great. There's not another way to say it. Like, he was very attentive. He would ask questions. He didn't walk in front of me. He didn't walk behind me. He walked beside me. Being taller, like, if he had taken a couple steps, he would stop and like wait for me. And like, those are things that like I'm about. Like, you see me as like this equal. Like, you want to hear what I have to say. You're attentive. There was this one point where I think somebody was like coming, and I essentially was like so caught up in the conversation that I didn't realize that like, I'm going to run into this person. And so he put his hand on the small of my back, and I literally about melted. Like, again, that intensity. I was like, there was something. And so we ended up going to Bath and Body Works, which I had no plans of him purchasing anything for me. And he did end up purchasing like a couple candles for me. He told me that his mom buys him candles all the time. And I'm like, we're going to Bath and Body Works. I'm going to find you a candle, because like, I love that kind of stuff. Right. And like, you're into candles. I'm going to find you a candle. So we went in there. We met this much shorter guy, who was the sweetest guy. I loved him. Like, yes, honey. Yes, babe. Like, I absolutely loved him. And he helped me find a couple of candles. And the guy that I was with decided not to get any candles. And so that was perfectly fine. I was not expecting him to purchase anything. I didn't ask him to. Like, I had come with my own money. Like I said, I had already had plans that I was going to go to the movies, like, by myself. I was chilling. And then I was like, you know what? I really, like, need to get some food. Like, I am hungry. So we walked into Cheesecake Factory. We had dinner. We talked. You know, it was, like, a good time. I'm really not a big drinker, but I did end up getting, like, a drink and didn't even drink at all. But, you know, just to, like, just enjoy the vibe. You know, like, it was a nice summer night. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cool. You know, like, it was just, it was perfect. It was a perfect dinner. Like, and he pulls out his card and pays for that. After I had already told him, like, you know, like, I didn't expect for you to pay for these candles. Like, I'm paying for dinner. Like, it's no problem to me. And he was like, I can't let you pay for dinner. Like, a real gentleman doesn't let you pay for dinner. And I was like, I don't really know how to act with this because, like, that was not my expectation. You know what I mean? So we walked to the car, and then again he puts his hand, like, around my, like, in the small of my back, and I'm like, okay, there's definitely, like, something here. Like, it's it's here. I don't know what it is, but I am interested. And he gives me a kiss on the cheek and departs. Like, we go our own ways. And I get a message from him through the dating site that he had a really good time, that there's a lot about me that he really enjoys, but he wasn't sure, like, where my head was at. And I was like, you know, I wanted to kind of take this time to figure out how I was feeling, because I don't want to cut off anything just because it doesn't come in the package that I want, if it's really something that's supposed to be for me, right? And so I was like, you know what, I'm interested. And so I gave him my number. And we talked the rest of the night. I told him that I made it home safe. Again, I'm not a big drinker, so he was like, I'm so glad you made it home because of all you drank. You know, like, it was just, like, good time, good jokes, like, all that. So that was a Saturday night. Sunday, he, we, you know, had talked through the day, and he invited me over to his house. I really wanted to go and get caramel apples because I'm a huge caramel apple fan, and found out that there's a place in town that sells caramel apples. And I was like, well, I'm going to go here. Like, do you want to meet up? And he was like, I had, you know, a long day. I'm really home, and, like, I just want to, like, sit on the couch. And I'm like, okay, cool. And he was like, you can come over. Gives me his address. So I swing by, I get a couple caramel apples, go to his house. Like, we just, like, hang out, we watch a movie, and we're, like, cuddled up on the couch. Again, completely unexpected, but it felt right. And he, like, leans over and kisses me, and I genuinely couldn't do anything but giggle. I am a 40-year-old woman. Well, at that age, 39. 39-year-old woman. I cannot remember the last time I giggled. But I was, like, genuinely just, like, so happy. Like, I was like, this is, like, amazing. Like, this is all of the right things. And so the next few weeks, like, we spent every day together. Like, I think it was, like, a good 2.5 weeks. 2 weeks maybe, we spent every day together. And then we ran into our first fight. And it was, let me back up. In this time frame, we decided, like, a few days after the kiss, we decided that we were going to be exclusive. And I was down with that. Like, you're looking for a long-term relationship. I'm looking for a long-term relationship. Let's see what happens. We're together, and that's that. And I was good with that because the way that I felt, again, it was intense. It was real. Like, it was amazing. And so a couple weeks later, we ended up having, like, our first fight. And it started because I had come home and it was, you know, getting late. And essentially I didn't want to go anywhere. Like I was not in the place, like I was already showered and in bed and like all of the things and ready to just be home and in the bed. And he did not like the fact that I said no. And I felt guilty. And so I got dressed, I got up, and I went over there. Not even like dress. Like I just put on enough because I had on pajamas. I put on enough so that if I got pulled over, I wasn't going to jail for indecent exposure. Packed my work clothes because he lived right around the corner from my job. And so went over there, and he was like already in bed, and the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, so guilt works on you. Interesting." And I was just like, "Dude, we're just going to bed. Like we're like, what are you talking about? We're going to bed." And so I rolled over to like go to bed. He was like, "Well, wait, like I want to cuddle and like all that." And I'm like, "Okay, like that's fine." You know, I think at this point it was like 11 o'clock. That's fine. Like let's cuddle. Let's go to sleep. Like let's go to sleep. And we're cuddling, and he's rubbing my back and like kissing my forehead, and he starts to tell me this story about, no, first he says to me something along the lines of like, "You are just like too good to be true. How are you still single?" And I'm like, I'm pretty sure my answer was something along the lines of like, men really don't want real women. Like they don't know how to handle real women. And that's true. Like they don't know how to handle someone who is loyal, and they don't know how to handle someone who, what they say is what they say and what they mean. Like they're not ready for that. Um, and so he begins to tell me the story about how back home in his small town there used to be women essentially that were running a lick, and they would have like someone at their house, be dating someone, be married, whatever or whatnot, and still be out dating and looking for other guys. And then they would stay the night at their house and like, make the guy fall in love and like all of the things, and have full access to this guy's information and take them for everything they got. And I literally looked up at him and I was like, wow. Wow. And I literally just like wrote over, because I'm like, what are you trying to say? So it caused a whole argument of, he swears he wasn't trying to accuse me of that. And I'm like, well, what are you trying to say then? Because you're telling me I'm too good to be true, and then you go into the story about how women from your town are trying to run a lick. And then he's like, I want to see your driver's license. I need to know that you are who you are. And I'm like, that is the creepiest, like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't understand what are you saying? Like, what are you saying? So we get into this argument, and I'm like, I am who I am. Like, where I live. Like I gave him my address because we were trying to figure out the whole caramel apple thing. Like, I don't, like, I've invited you over. Like, I don't understand. So we are like arguing, and I'm like, I just came over here to go to bed. Like, that's all I'm trying to do is like go to bed. Like, I don't understand. And I remember having this moment, and I have to give myself grace now with this moment because I didn't have anything to reference it to. I remember audibly hearing, he's a narcissist. And I had never dated a narcissist. I had nothing to reference it to. Like, I was completely ignorant. And hindsight 2020, I also did not trust myself. Like, I literally thought I was crazy because it was literally like I was talking to like a friend. Like, we were having a conversation, and audibly I could hear, he's a narcissist. And I honestly shrugged it off. Like, I shrugged it off. And we continued to argue, and I got to the point where I was like, here's my driver's license. Like, this is who I am. Like, whatever. And I guess at this point it was either too late or it was not good enough for him. And he was like, this conversation has gotten a bit out of control. I think that we like need to take some space. And I looked at him, and I didn't even say anything. And I got up and I grabbed my stuff and I walked out. And at this point it was like raining. It was after midnight. Like, you called me over here and then you're going to kick me out. And I was like, I was livid, absolutely livid. So then the next morning he texts me like nothing happened. Like absolutely nothing happened. Like we had spent every day together. Nothing had happened. Argument, nothing had happened. And I'm like, we literally just had an argument. You just accused me. I don't know what you're talking about. Like that's not what I was saying. Like whatever, blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I'm tripping because I can trip. Maybe I'm reading into it. So I took a second and I ended up going over there that night and we kissed and made up. Like, there's not another way to say it. Like, I was starting to, like, really fall for him. Like, I was like, okay, like, it's an argument. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, whatever, whatnot, right? So we get back to where we were. We were hanging out, like, almost every day. We're now, like, 3 weeks in, 3.5 weeks in, and things are good. And like I'm staying the night, just like things are good. A month goes, things are good. A couple of like little things here and there, nothing that like would cause like any more, I guess, essential like red flags, right? That clearly I ignored. He did tell me that it was like a busy season for them at his job because again he does accounting, he's a CPA, and so he was taking unprescribed meds, and that concerned me. I'm like, I'm not like into that. Like, do you really need that? And like at one point it had made like his stomach upset or whatever or whatnot. There was like another time where I was at a gathering and I had planned to like leave to go home early, because I was just like tired, and he texted me saying like he didn't feel good, and I'm like, okay, well, like my man doesn't feel good, because at this point, like, again, we were exclusive, we were only seeing each other, and so I'm like, like my man's not feeling good, like I'm gonna go over there and like see what's going on. And we ended up just like cuddling and like kissing, and like I rubbed his tummy and like like that kind of stuff, right? And I wasn't over there very long, and I came back home and like went to bed or whatever or whatnot. So there was, I guess, a comment that I had made at some point during the relationship that he considered to be like a racial comment. Honestly, it was something probably along the lines of like, white people put raisins in their potato salad, or just like white people don't dance on beat, or like something like that, because that's just how I am. Like, and it's not, before someone goes all the way left and is like, oh, you're racist, like that's not even what it is. Like, not even close to what it is, and like he just like full force took that as me being racist, me like he didn't like that, I shouldn't say things like that. But it was so out of my mind because I guess it had happened like one of our first interactions, or being together or whatever, and he had now waited 3.5 weeks to bring this up, and it was just like a whole thing. So we had actually had plans on I think like a Friday. I think it was a Friday into a Sunday. Like I was going to stay like the whole weekend. And no, it was a Saturday into Sunday. And he ended up going to supposedly meet some like a family member or something in his small town with his brother and his mom. And I was like, okay, cool. Just like let me know when you get back in town. Like, I'll see you tonight. No problem. Cool. Perfectly fine. So I get off of work and like I wait in the area because I don't live close. Like I live 20 minutes away. And I was like, I'm not driving all the way home and then I'm driving all the way back. Like I'm not doing it. 1 hour goes by. 2 hours go by. 4 hours go by. I'm like, okay, I'm going home. I'm going home. Didn't hear from him. I text him the next day, and his response to me was, Yeah, I'm sorry. I just like, I'm really introverted and I just like really need some time to myself. And, we've been spending a lot of time together and I just need a little bit of me time. And I'm like, okay, like that's fine, like that's cool, but like, can you give me a heads up before? Like, because you really just like left me hanging. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I'm really sorry. I'm just home playing video games. Um, and just, enjoying, just trying to enjoy my time. And work's been hectic and I just really need to just be alone. And I was like, okay, I can respect that. Like, that's fine. And so I didn't hear anything from him Sunday. I pretty much don't hear anything from him like Monday, and I literally sent him a text message like, "Hey, if things have changed, like I deserve the right to know because you have now ghosted me like 3 days, and that is not okay. Like we had plans and you you were nowhere to be found." So he ends up texting me much later that day an 80-foot paragraph literally about how there's a lot of things that he likes about me, but there are a couple of things like our communication style is very different. The comment that I made about whatever racial comment that I had made, and there was like one more thing, and it was like it was all very juvenile, right? So I responded back to him about this racial comment that I had made, and about how like this whole thing is like crap, like this is bullshit because you should have just like said what you need to say. And like, so like now we're in an argument because he just isn't sure that I'm able to just like handle this situation and like be in an interracial relationship and whatever whatnot. And I'm like, okay, what, like I generally don't understand what's going on. Like I don't. And so it got to the point where in this argument, I was like, I know that these things bother you, and I have been fully conscious of making sure that I have not said anything else that would like upset you in that manner pertaining to like racial comments. We are completely different on the political spectrum, and so like I knew that, like those kind of things would not be a pleasant conversation for us. And so like I avoided those. And that's probably what I said was something political now that I think about it, because it was like right in the height of the elections. Yeah. So um I, took responsibility. I just wanted things to be right. Like, I wanted us to be good again because I was falling. Like, I genuinely was falling in love. It was fast, it was intense, but it was perfect. He, for the most part, was sweet and kind and considerate. Like, he tried to fix a couple of things on my car and, like, bought the pieces while, we weren't he bought the pieces when he was out, and like I was then like coming to his house later, and like he knew I liked margaritas, so he went and bought like margaritas. And like, like he was just genuinely like the sweet guy. And I was like, you know what, it's just another argument, it's a misunderstanding, like I'm gonna brush it under the rug, like let's just kiss and make up, right? And so we ended up doing that, and I took the complete fall for that, and just like I'm trying to do my best. Like I've already apologized, I've already not said those things, I'm already changing, I don't know what else you're wanting me to do. And then to him that was like, that's all I wanted, like we're good now. And I'm like, we're not good now, because like you literally ghosted me for 3 days for this. So then that was like a whole different fight, because like I was speaking up about how that situation like made me feel, and it just was not received well. And again, I falling, I'm all the things, so I just brush it under the rug. So at this time, he is going to a wedding in Minnesota, and I am going with my sister and two of our friends to, I think we're going to Chicago. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to Chicago. And we there was a couple days in there where, like we didn't really talk. Please note that during this time we were not broken up. Like, we were still together, we were still exclusive, but we definitely had, we needed a little bit of space because we had been spending a lot of time together. Um, and so we went our like separate ways, didn't talk a couple of days, and then I sent him a message and I wanted a picture because I missed him. Like, my heart wanted him, and outside of like these few little fights, like, he was still a great guy, right? And so he sent me a picture. He asked me for a picture. And we ended up talking that night, and like it was a really good conversation, and we got things like settled, and for the most part. Then the next day we were coming back, and we somehow ended up getting into an argument again. Like, I don't even remember how we ended up getting into an argument again. But we got that figured out before I came back from Chicago. So when I got back, I ended up going to his house. And at this point, we were being intimate. Like, it was fast, it was intense, but I knew how I felt. And I genuinely thought he was the one. Like, at this point, I'm like, this is like everything I've prayed for. Like, yes, he clearly has a couple of quirks. Clearly, he's not typically the kind of man that I go for. But I'm like, I'm in love. Like, I am ride or die for this dude. Like, that's what I want, right? And so, like, we do the things that couples do, and I end up coming home because the next morning I had to be at work at 7 a.m. And things were good. Everything was good, and until September 14th, I believe it was. I got a text message from my uncle, who he actually lives in Las Vegas, but he was in Columbus because my grandma was passing. And the dad side of the family, I have not seen since I was 12. But I knew that I wanted to go. I knew that and this is something that I had kind of been working on for a couple years on and off, of trying to get back that piece of me that I felt I had lost since I was 12. Like, and it comes down to like a whole identity thing, right? And so I immediately, like, I'm literally at work reading these text messages, and I'm like, I gotta go. Like, I have to go to Columbus. My uncle's like, they don't think she's gonna make it through the weekend. And I'm like, I have to go. Like, this is part of that particular healing of my life. So we had plans to get together for dinner, and I was like, my grandma's dying, I gotta go. Like, can you come by my house? Like, I need to pack, like, I need to do all these things. And he was like, I will see if I can make that happen. And I'm like, it would really like mean a lot to me, So I essentially like try and find someone to work for me, like all the things. And I'm pretty sure that I did. I can't remember. I fly out that Thursday, like the next day, and I get a message from him very early in the morning. Sorry I couldn't come by. I had to pick up some scripts, and the night just kind of like got away from me. And I was like, I can't deal with this right now. I will message you when I get back. And so I got on the plane. I went to Columbus. I made amends with my grandma. I saw my dad's side of the family that I haven't seen since I was 12. My dad passed away when I was 12. Last time I saw them was at the funeral. And so there was a lot of family things that were going on that a 12-year-old did not need to be a part of, and yet still kind of knew. And that's like a whole different thing. But I went, I made it, I saw her that Thursday, and I had the time that I needed to have with her, and I had the time that I needed to have with my family. She ended up passing away Thursday into Friday. So like I had literally like made it just in time. Like it was exactly what needed to happen for me. And so I met with my uncle I met with my aunt. I met with my other aunt, but and I met cousins that I have never met before. I met my other uncle, which I was in him and my aunt's wedding when I was like very, very young. Well, not very, very young, but when I was like young. Um, and I just enjoyed the time with them. And it was very much needed. And so I messaged him on my way home, and I'm really disappointed. Like I'm like I needed you to be there for me, and you couldn't do that. Like I don't understand what the problem is, because if she was on the other foot, I would have had no problem being there for you. Like I genuinely just can't. Like I don't. Like what the hell? And his response to me was something along the lines of, well, your grandma was old, like it's to be expected. Like unless this is there's something that you're not telling me, and like you guys were closer than you say you were, and I just don't understand what the big deal is. And I was just like, okay, my heart is literally ripping in two. Like I don't know how else to explain the pain that I felt in that moment, because here I was with a guy who I genuinely thought was my husband, who was doing all the right things. This was moving very fast, but it was fast and intense, and I enjoyed it. And he was not able to empathize with me in this moment. And so I get back, and I'm like, a few days later, like we're trying to have a conversation, and I'm like, you know what, I don't know that this I can do this. Like I don't want to be with you. Like I don't want to be with you. Like this is just like not it. And now what I recognize to be my fear of abandonment, very shortly after I was like, well wait, I really don't mean that. Like you just really hurt my feelings. Right? And at this point he was like, no, like we're not going to be together. Like I think that it's wise, like whatever, whatnot. And I was like, fine, fine. And I tried to set up a couple of, like he tried to set up a couple of times to talk to me, and I was just like not available. And then I tried to set up a couple times to talk with him, and he was not available. And so within this 2 weeks, we're still in contact. His primary reason of contact was sexual. Like that's what he wanted. So I just was like not into it. Like that's not how I roll. Like in my 20s, yeah, like fine. I'm now 39. I'm genuinely looking to be in a real relationship with someone. I'm genuinely looking to be leaning towards marriage. Like I'm that's what I'm genuinely looking for. And so like just sleeping around is like not my thing. He's not the first guy I've dated in the 7 years of celibacy. Like almost 7 years. Like he's not even remotely close. But I genuinely thought he was the one. My feelings for him were real. So I again in contact those 2 weeks. And then Saturday, I think it's like the 29th or something, comes up, and we're finally able to meet up. Like we were texting throughout the day, and it wasn't anything sexual. It was literally like, you know, maybe we can figure this out, like a type of thing. And I was like, okay, I'm like currently busy right now, but I can come over after. And he was down with that. He said that he had plans, that he had a date, because he had sent me a message like a few days before and was like, I'm going out on a date on Friday. And I was like, okay, have fun. Because like you're messaging me just for sex. Like that's not how I roll. So that Saturday, the night of the date, he was like, I'm not feeling well, and I decided to cancel the date. And I was like, okay, well, like, like you're available, I'm available, let's like talk, let's figure this out. And he was like, okay, cool. So I end up going over there, and we talk it out, and everything is like good. Like And we realize like there must be a disconnect between like how we're texting and like when we get together, because we're able to talk things out when we're together, and we like kiss and make up, and like not like fully, like there was no sex because like we're not doing that, but in full disclosure, like my heart, I wanted to, like you were my man, like you're mine, like you've been my boyfriend, we've been exclusive, and like we're we're together, and like this conversation like brought us back together, right? And so we're like laying on the couch, and like he's got his arms around me, and he's kissing me, and he's hugging me, and he's holding me, and then he's like, like it's getting late, I'm tired, I've had a long day. He said he had done some work that day, and so I'm like, okay, like no problem, let's get together tomorrow. Well, actually, he suggests that we get together tomorrow, and I'm like, okay, cool. So he gets up, and all of a sudden he goes to the window, and he looks out the window, and I'm like, what's going on? And then there's a knock at the door. And he's like, you locked the door, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I locked the door. And he was like, okay, good. And I'm like, I literally just look at him like that. And I'm like, is that her? Like, is that your date? And he just like looks at me. And I'm like, and she knows where you live, so she's been here before. And I literally just sit there. Because at this point, I am so filled with rage that I'm about to go to jail. Like, I literally feel it in my body. Literally feel it in my body. And I am like, okay, so she's been here before. When did you start talking to her? And he was like, shortly after your first goodbye, which was like 12 days before. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I just sit there and I literally nod. And I'm like, I say something along the lines of, like, I really want to, like, knock the shit out of, like, I'm about to start some shit or something like that. And he walks around his sectional and he tells me with, like, this, like, almost like this terror in his eye. And he's like, okay, so, like, I met this 23-year-old. He's 33, 34. I met this 23-year-old, and I went out on a date with her, but I realized that I don't really like ghetto girls, and I'm really, like, not interested. And so I, like, didn't want to go out with her tonight. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And so he asks again, like, are you sure you locked the door? I'm like, I'm pretty sure. Like, are we going to go upstairs and hide? Like, what are you wanting to do? He's like, well, your car is in the driveway. I'm like, yeah. So she's, like, knocking on the door. He's, like, peeping out the window. And I'm just, like, sitting there. Like, all of the thoughts, all of the things, all of the fights. Like, again, heart ripping into. Full blown ripping into. Because I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I go home, because I'm now free to go home. And he sends me a message, I'm really sorry. I didn't expect for that to happen. I'm really sorry that the night ended up like that. And I'm just like, yep, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Absolutely, we're talking about this tomorrow. And so tomorrow comes, and I get a message from him. No, I think I message him first. And I'm like, okay, so like what? Like, what's going on? And he literally says, like, the same thing. He met a 23-year-old. She's ghetto. He just is not, like, feeling it. Like, it just was not worth it for him. And so, like, I'm asking him all the questions. Like, how did you meet her? Where did you guys go? Have you been intimate with her? Like, those kind of things. Because if in this 10 days, this is where you're at, we need to, like, quit. And he's like, no, I haven't been intimate with her. I just, like, met her. Um, I have kissed her. We have done things that are physically adjacent. That is what he said. And I said, what the hell is physically, like, what does that mean? He's like, we have not had sex, but we've done, like, other stuff. And I'm like, oh, in 10 days. In 10 days. I don't know that I really want to talk about this because I really just feel like shit about myself and, like, that this has happened. And I said, okay. All right, well, then I will see you tonight because this conversation is not over. And he sends me a message, and I don't remember what the message says, but I'm pretty sure, like, my response was something along the lines of, like, when I said I was going to start some shit last night, I did not mean with her. I meant with you. Because I have no problem running up on a dude. I've never been in a fight, but I have no problem. I had an ex when I was 21, who thought he was going to buck up on me, and I literally choked the shit out of him. Like, I blacked out. And when I came to, I had him by his throat. So I have no problem. I was always, like, the bouncer in my group when I would go to the club. Like, a guy would run up on my friends and, like, you know, try to do things. What are you doing? What, we're going to have a problem? Like, I have no problem. And I think that that's one of the reasons I've never been in a physically abusive relationship is because I have no problem. Run up on me if you want to. I'm a big female, okay? So I was ready. I was ready to go in. So he ends up sending me, like, some other message about, like, getting together. And I, like, don't respond. And then it's hours later, and I'm like, okay, so, like, I'm on my way to your house. And he's like, well, I didn't hear anything from you, so I wasn't sure if you were coming or not. And I was like, well, yeah. Like, why wouldn't I? Well, I'm at my mom's now, and so, like, we're just gonna have to connect, like, some other time. And I'm like, okay. And I sat there in my feelings, in all of my feelings. And I sent him a message and I said, you know, this shit has been really disrespectful lately. I don't like how you talk to me. I don't like how you've been treating me. And now you're with, like, all of this. And you are putting me in just, like, a really weird situation. I can't. Like, I'm done. I have to walk away from this. Like, I'm not. And, he's like, well, I mean, she's not really worried about you. Like, that's done. She's like, I let her know that it was over. Like, it's done, you know, like, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But, like, I gotta throw in the towel. Like, I can't do this. And so I did. I threw in the towel and I was done. And I had the hardest time because my heart still wanted to be with him. My heart still wanted to be held and be kissed and be loved and hear his laugh. And, like, I went down a really dark path. I ended up calling the local take myself out group, the 988 number. I had talked to them, like, a lot, and I did this for weeks. Was in the bed. I was absolutely miserable. Absolutely miserable. I was still going to work. I was still doing all of those things, but I was really struggling because my heart was genuinely broken. And so I had one day in there where it was a new feeling. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I wasn't frustrated. I wasn't disappointed. I didn't know what it was. And I ended up calling the 988 number. And I told them how I was feeling. And emotions are new to me because of my childhood, plainly put. So I'm still learning now at 40 to label them, to understand them, to feel them, to process them. And this was one that I did not know. And after I talked to her, well, while I was talking to her, she said, it sounds like you feel really powerless. And I was like, that's exactly how I feel. That is the word that I'm looking for. Is that I was with a guy, it was fast, it was intense, but it was as perfect as I thought it was going to get, that I was willing to stick around with, that I had given literally all of me to, and it was not good enough. I felt powerless. And I decided that I did not want to feel that way. So, me being petty, honestly, hindsight 2020, but also like in that moment, I wanted my power back. You have now messed with my head and my heart. I'm messing with one of those with you. And so I sent him a message by accident saying, hey, I'm outside wearing that thing that you like. Come outside. And then I waited 30 seconds and was like, oops, wrong number. And he sure enough responded, quick, fast, in a hurry. Ooh, bring that over here. Nope, my bad. That wasn't for you. I'm good. No, you need to go ahead and just like bring that over here. Nope. All right, well, have a good night. Have fun. I'm like, cool. That's all I wanted. Like for me, that was it.